SV08 MAX.
Enclosure.
We have so much happening with our Sovol SV08 MAX and so much footage gathered that we don't have time to produce the actual videos. With a $3 component, we made it totally silent in idle mode. Can you hear it? Some loose screws caused a bit of trouble with the auxiliary filament feeder, but now it's ready for prime time. Sovol sent us a replacement hot end and rear fan, and now we've been able to experiment with various nozzle materials and sizes with very encouraging results. And of course, the main event, we got the full beautiful glass metal enclosure setup and are already testing it with various materials. Instead of waiting for a long detailed video about all of these to come together, we've decided to release them in pieces, starting with the most demanded part, the enclosure. This is gerGO, and you're watching gerGO Print 3D, our YouTube channel where my little nephew Levi and I are making mistakes so you don't have to.
We make many mistakes.
Yeah, that's the idea. We put together, break, and fix all the exciting gadgets. 3D printers, 3D scanners, and laser devices. Just like the 100 or so videos in our back catalog, I made sure the subtitles of this one are accurate and translation ready and include chapter markers for easy navigation. This is key since in an exciting development, YouTube now provides translated audio too. So you might be able to listen to us in your own language. So how does it sound? We are putting together the enclosure. The panels come flat pack in this 79 by 73 by 18 centimeter box, weighing 16 kilos.
Unboxing time.
Not counting the box and foam, this adds 12 kilos, increasing the mass of the Max to around 50 kilos, which is barely manageable for a single person when it comes to lifting or moving it around. No worries though, Levi is here. How could he miss such a monster Lego Technic project? This being one of the first Max enclosures in the wild, the unboxing should settle a few questions we had been asked earlier. Is this a sealed or an open design, like the original SV08s? Is the top made of metal or glass? How do Sovol solve chamber heating and cooling? What's included? Will the filament path need to be adjusted? Two massive 120/40 fans appear from the first compartment, each with a rudimentary foam filter. One has a longer wire than the other. The next compartment holds the installation guide and various tools and accessories like zip ties, plastic sleeves, screws in 10 numbered bags, magnets for the doors, door handles, hinges, and a cheap spanner. The top half panel is made of sheet metal with a hole where the filament will enter the enclosure. So does this mean the top is made of metal? Anyway, we get to one of the glass doors, which at first glance looks a bit darker than the glass of the original SV08. Levi is most interested in the peel.
Imagine how satisfying it's gonna be.
But that has to come a bit later.
Why is every glass in this house so heavy?
Glass is heavy. Heavier than metal, it seems.
Are we done with the first layer? Not yet.
Oh, look at that. This foam is heavy as well.
There is more here.
Another big peel.
And the other door.
And yet another, and that's glass. So there are 3 glasses? That's new to me.
It turns out half of the top is made of glass.
That's very good news.
I thought the whole top was metal.
This top piece has sealing foam stripes on it. Now, the top layer is complete.
And I hope we didn't have more glass in this.
But we discover one more piece, a cable channel to organize the fan wiring in the back. The bottom layer holds the metallic 600 by 600 millimeter back and side panels.
The fans go on the back.
The two side panels seem identical, both having a cutout which will only be utilized for the auxiliary feeder on the right side of the printer. And that concludes the unboxing. We take a virtual reality break, testing the new multiplayer mode of I Am Cat, playing hide and seek with other kids around the world.
And what?
Assembly, back panel.
And now we're gonna put it together.
We are starting with page 6 and 7, putting the fans on the back. There are 2 fans with a shorter and a longer cable. The longer one goes on top and the shorter one goes below, and they are facing the opposite ways, so the fans can be seen in the bottom one and the back of the fan can be seen on the top one. Both cables need to come this way because there we will have this cable channel here.
We are using the 8 M4x45 screws to secure the fans, but don't be like us, make sure to include the fan grills. The top covers with the filter foams will snap onto these. With the back all prepared, we were ready to fasten it to the frame of the printer. But before proceeding with that, Levi noticed the magnets fell out of the bottom doorstop. So we used super glue to re-adhere them. It wasn't all smooth sailing though, as they kept jumping out and sticking together. We make mistakes, so you don't have to. If this happens to you, we recommend gluing in the 2 magnets one at a time. If you're impatient like us, you can use an air pump like this Haro mini vacuum to dry it faster. Anyway, this is the part where I wouldn't even have had a chance alone lifting the 40-kilo printer onto our work table. Too bad these handy handles will no longer be accessible once we add those side panels. Working on the printer, we went back to page 5 to secure the door stops, starting with the bottom one and then adding the top.
So we are done with all these three pages. Now comes the back cover. That's basically, it goes this way, the gap downwards, fans are on the outside.
Outside.
On the outside, exactly. Because look, if they were on the inside, the gantry would bump into them. You know, the gantry moves up and down on this side.
I was holding the cover in place while Levi drove in the 12 screws. We can already tell the fit is not perfect. You'll see gaps of a fraction of a millimeter, so it's not a perfect seal. 3D Print Demon actually recommends adding 2x5mm adhesive sealing tape to reduce the rattling and shaking noise of the metal panels and improve thermal insulation. We wish Sovol included these foam stripes, but they are pretty inexpensive on AliExpress. We've already ordered some and have included the links below. Next, those 2 screw holes are for the little cable mount hooks. We can fasten there using an M4x6 screw for each. As for orientation,
the booklet shows to put these things sideways, but it doesn't make any sense. So
If it's pointing down, the zip tie will hold the cable
like this.
much nicer.
Should we just?
We are going to cut those, yeah, later.
luckily, the plugs do fit through the hole at the bottom, so you don't have to thread them through before attaching the back panel.
So these things can usually be separated like that.
Oh.
So we are going to put these in here just for testing.
Yeah.
We then feed both cables through the hole. This would have been a good time to also connect them to the corresponding ports on the inside. We missed this opportunity, making it a bit harder to connect them later from inside the printer when all the panels were already installed. Regardless, Levi peeled the adhesive on the cable channel and carefully positioned it between the hole and the lower mounting point. Then snap on the channel cover, snap off the excess zip ties.
This is how it's supposed to be.
Side panels. Moving on with the side panels,
Continue with the left side, it doesn't make any difference.
the booklet draws our attention to the cutout, which should go on the top.
And we will need M3x6 flat head screws, 12 of them. The same ones we used for the back, right?
These two are identical. They look exactly the same. So I'm hoping they really are identical. Every little hole and everything is the same on both. We use whichever feels better.
You don't need two people to install the enclosure, but working as a team made it much more efficient for us since we also have to manage the lights and cameras.
It would help if you could hold it, can you? Thank you. And I'm going to use 2 screws for the top.
But the idea is to add all the screws loosely first, and once everything is all lined up, then tighten them all.
Now it's my turn.
For the second time, I think I'm done. And now we just go all around, and this part needs the power.
When installing the right side, we need to temporarily remove the auxiliary feeding unit.
So I have to use Allen keys for this.
After removing the feeder, we noticed a problem.
And yeah, it has some poop inside.
Yeah,
I don't know what is it, ink or something.
it's filament debris. Yeah, so it's filament dust. What's this sound?
We did not investigate further, but be sure to check out our next video on the Sovol SV08 MAX, where we get to the bottom of this and show you the fix. Stay subscribed for this and many other tips regarding this printer. We'll have to remove the spool holder as well. With the right side all cleared up, we can add this side panel as well.
Yeah.
This hole here is for the auxiliary feeder
So
system.
these are not similar.
They are the same, but I think the hole has a function only on this
Oh,
side.
yeah. So,
Here comes the force. It's coming together very nicely. 12 screws. I think the SV08 only used 8 screws.
You'll definitely want to add some
This is
sand
the-
dampening foam tape.
Okay, so we put this back. Now comes this. This comes back. And this comes here. I think this piece is a little too short.
For us beta testers, Sovol only sent the auxiliary feeder unit without the extra PTFE tubes. We are re-adding the spool holder.
We've done it.
we're going to play some beer.
How do you like it so far? We are more than halfway there. You can encourage us with a like and subscribe. Thank you if you already did.
So, this is the second day of building the enclosure of the SV08 MAX. So, let's begin.
The time has come.
So, we're gonna peel decals after we put on the
Hinges.
hinges. We cannot peel it off, so
The hinges feel strong. They should do a better job of keeping the doors open.
And I'm very happy because on the SV08, the doors don't stay open when we open them, you know. I had to make that prop for it, and this will not be the case here, which I'm very happy for.
You're welcome to check out that project in this video, by the way.
So we need these screws for the glass. Each of them needs a little protector, and so here are the two protectors, and then comes the hinge, and then comes the screw and the other screw. We put the nut underneath.
You'll need to use the included spanners.
This doesn't have the plastic, it fell out.
oh, where is it?
Can you see it?
I can't.
It fell out. So this plastic is extremely important because you never want metal to touch glass
Yeah.
because it can easily break. That's why I was a little bit worried now. On my side it has the plastic hinge.
And the other side is protected by these plastic sleeves. Then we continued with the other door.
We were very lucky because all of these are the single one on this side, see? So we will do the same on this side as well.
Although it is only for aesthetics, do watch out for the orientation of the hinges. All in all, be prepared to spend a good few minutes installing the hinges and handles on the doors. Now, when it comes to the door handles, we are only going to use the center screw holes. The one where they are closer together goes on the top lid, and the identical looking ones go on the two doors. When securing the handles, make sure to use the protective plastic sleeves here as well.
So there are two kinds of M3x8 screws, and we need the countersunk ones, these ones. Okay, so you can bring the door, and in this case the magnet really helps keep the door in place. Would you like to do it?
Yes.
Continue with the bottommost one. And does it stay open if you leave it open? Very even with vibrations, right? Very good. Nice. Oh, you can open it all the way back there.
This is very clever.
Yeah.
Not the glass.
The glass doesn't touch
Yeah.
metal there either.
Because-
Hinges on the outside and it's thick enough.
We did not miss the opportunity to make one more little mistake. When installing the doors, make sure the one with the sticker goes on the left side with the sticker on the top. We only realized this after installing both doors. At least you won't need to make the same mistake.
So it says, open the door when printing PLA, close the door when printing high temperature filaments, be careful not to touch the sealing plate when using auxiliary heating module to avoid burns. Okay.
There is a pretty big gap, so
With that substantial gap between the doors, this is still an open enclosure. The kit also doesn't include an active chamber heater, so for now we have to rely on the bed's heat alone, making sure the chamber fans are off until it's up to temperature. Top, we finish the enclosure with the top lid. The metallic half goes in the back.
The other way around. The hole goes where the filament tube will come. We will need to use the last 8 of these screws.
See how we push the side before tightening these top screws? These panels do a good job of making the frame of the printer perfectly square and improving the overall stability of the structure.
Last piece of the puzzle. And you can...
we need to print something there.
Oh, another prop. That's a good idea. I will design one.
Watch Levi as he expertly connects the PTFE tube even before I remind him.
You always hold down that ring, you know? You have to press it down.
Yeah, I know. There's very dark in there.
It is extremely dark. So, of course, it's not turned on.
With the LED lights turned on, visibility inside is a little better, but the glass is darker than the SV08s. We are already planning to add more lighting inside though. Easy fix. I've added links to AliExpress sources for light strips in the description below. Updates will follow.
SV08 MAX.
Enclosure.
What?
We are already printing all kinds of materials, testing heating speeds, cooling efficiency, and its sound dampening factor. Stay tuned for those. Even if you only plan to print PLA and PETG, this enclosure is highly recommended. Besides the obvious advantages, it also improves the structural strength of the printer, protects the sensitive motion system from environmental dust, and last but not least, for us particularly, it turns the SV08 MAX into an aesthetically pleasing piece of furniture in our living room. If you're deciding whether to pre-order the MAX, we recommend going with the enclosed option. This official glass and metal variant is built to be safer for active chamber heating than any DIY setup. To support our channel, please consider using our affiliate links in the description below. You pay the same price and we get a small commission from the company. We'd also love to hear from you. What else should we test? Let us know in the comments. And if you haven't yet, be sure to watch our previous 2 videos of the SV08 MAX. This one with our first impressions, and this next one with our first prints. And now we go print 3D. Specifically, we are printing high temp filaments with the MAX. Thank you for watching. Until the very end of another gerGO Print 3D video, take care.